Hey guys, it is Admin. Welcome to an update for the Machines data pack. Today's update merges two data packs that I had previously made into the actual Machines data pack. Those are the block breaker and the block placer. From this point forward, the block breaker and placer data packs will no longer be supported as they are now merged with the Machines data pack. That being said, I made some fairly substantial modifications to the actual data packs that improve performance as well as increase the cost to make them. And that's all with the goal of also making it feel like the other machines in the pack. So let's see how you craft them, and then after that we will jump into a tutorial on how to actually use them. So we used to drop an item on top of a dispenser or a dropper. Now we actually need to craft something. So get a custom crafter, that is a dropper, and then you need a crafting table, and you throw the crafting table on top of it. This update also increases the cost of making the crusher and the washer, as they were deemed to be a little overpowered for how much they cost. Anyway, the recipe for the block breaker is as follows. We have 6 obsidian, a diamond block in the middle, a diamond pick on the left, and a diamond shovel on the right. That gives us the breaker. The block placer actually has 2 heavy gears in the recipe. Those are crafted with 4 iron blocks, a diamond, and 4 iron ingots. And we will need 2 of them. So that gives you a heavy gear. They have to be crafted one at a time due to how this crafter works, but that gives us 2 heavy gears. If we take the 2 heavy gears and place obsidian on top, the diamond block in the middle, we get a placer. Okay, so those were quite expensive recipes. So what are we going to do with them? And does the use actually justify the cost? Well, these both serve a purpose that is otherwise impossible to accomplish in vanilla Minecraft. There is no way normally to automate placing blocks, and breaking blocks has to be done with TNT, or Wither, both of which are extremely inconvenient to work with. So this means that these 2 blocks will now serve a purpose that is pretty much unfilled in the game. To place them down in the world, you cannot simply right-click to place them. Instead, you need to place them on top of a dispenser and a dropper. The block placer is placed on top of a dropper, and it will face the direction that the dropper is facing, like so. Meanwhile, the breaker is the same story. You shift right click to place it on top, and it will face the same direction that the dropper or dispenser was facing. I'm not 100% sold on the texture, but it was pretty much the best I could do with the time that I invested. Alright, so how does the block breaker work? Well, it breaks blocks that are in front of it. However, it needs a tool in it to actually work. In this case, let's put a stone pickaxe into the dispenser and it will break the actual stone. This does take tool durability, and so you cannot do this forever. Eventually the tool will break. Okay, so if I put a pickaxe into the breaker, then it can just break all blocks? No. You still need the correct tool types. So if we want to break dirt, we're going to need to put in a shovel. Now we can break dirt. You'll see the shovel takes durability. And same goes for wooden blocks. We need an axe. You can put any type of axe in, and it will work. You'll see that the axe does in fact take durability damage, and if I real quick place a bunch of blocks, it will break, and now the axe is no more. Okay, so at this point we have a fairly expensive block that does need to be fueled with different tool types. However, it does allow automation of breaking blocks, which is incredibly valuable. And in 1.16, I'm going to add the ability to use hose inside of it as well, as those are now becoming a tool to break blocks. So, how might this be used? Well, you can make a machine to very easily automate cobblestone. You wouldn't necessarily have to push it out with a piston, but that's what I'm doing here. And so, as long as you supply it with pickaxes, it will keep breaking cobblestone. and that can be picked up by the dropper, or by the hopper, and then goes into the chest. However, with a bit of ingenuity, you could also automate logs with pistons pushing the logs along, or really pretty much any other annoyingly farmable block. You could even automate something like concrete, where you place it down and you put it next to water, it gets hydrated, and then the breaker breaks it and then gets it picked up. So I think you guys pretty much understand how the breaker can be used. Let's look at the block placer. It's pretty self-explanatory and does about exactly what you think it would do. As the name implies, the block placer can place blocks. This occurs whenever it gets powered by any source. So basically, as soon as the item gets shot out, it gets turned into an actual block. One cool thing that I kind of forgot to mention is that these can be placed upwards and also downwards. That's true for both the block placer and breaker, and it can place blocks in the air. I do need to grab a lever, and so as you can see, the block gets placed in the air. And if I would have actually grabbed some blocks, you'll see there is a bit of a glitch with the texture. I can't fix that, unfortunately. But overall, it's pretty cool. Now, if you're like me, you'll know that the possibilities for something like this are pretty much endless. Suppose we were to take this, you could power it, while also then later powering, like say a piston. That's in the wrong place. And that would allow you to very easily automate a building process of some sort. So it places down the block, and then it powers the piston and pushes it along. Suppose we hook this up to a clock, we could send blocks off in a direction. And overall, there's a ridiculous amount of potential with a system like this for all sorts of functionalities. So those are the block breaker and placer. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video. Hit that subscribe button if you want to not miss out on future updates to this data pack. And I'll see you guys all in the next Datapack Showcase video. Thanks for watching.